I grew up watching his films. I saw Jo Jeeta Wahੀ Sikandar, I saw Rangila, I saw Gulam, I saw Andaz Apna Apna, I saw Daulat Ki Jang. I'm a huge Amir Khan fan.
हेलो गाइस, वेलकम टू द शॉर्ट टॉक ऑफ बॉलीवुड बबल। मैं हूं आपकी एंकर एंड होस्ट महक कपूर और आज हमारे साथ है द सीक्रेट सुपरस्टार के डायरेक्टर एंड द राइटर मिस्टर अद्वैत चंदन। वेलकम टू द शो।
Hi Mike.
हाउ आर यू?
Excited?
So we'll be just asking you a few questions and you just have to give the answers of
Okay.
it. All right? So the first question to you is, what inspired your film Secret Superstar?
It's a bunch of things, but when I was working on Satyamev Jayate, I was actually managing Amir sir and he was working on Satyamev Jayate. That kind of gave me a huge exposure to a lot of people who I would have not ordinarily met. I got to meet some amazing people during the show, and that's kind of when my understanding of a real hero changed. In my head, the real hero was a man. He had six-pack abs, he had a cool bike, he had a cool car, and then when I met people during Satyamev Jayate, suddenly it kind of I realized who a real hero really is, and I kind of, there was a shift in me and I wanted to write stories about them, and not these ideas of heroes that I had in my head. So that was a big influence on me, that show. And the idea came to me then, also because there was a kid who became a golf champion by watching how to play golf videos on YouTube.
YouTube, yes.
So just this idea that the internet is really empowering the Indian middle class.
At least these days, yes.
No, absolutely, and it's allowing for us to learn. It's giving us a platform to kind of showcase our talent.
True.
So it's a story about how the internet kind of affects this mother-daughter duo in a small town in India, and how it empowers them.
All right.
That was the idea I had during Satyamev Jayate.
So next question is, you have managed Mr. Amir Khan earlier and with this film, the bond between you two of you has cemented further.
Right.
What thoughts you had while presenting your script to him?
I feel like I've been a huge fanboy. I grew up watching his films. I saw Jo Jeeta Wahí Sikandar, I saw Rangila, I saw Gulam, I saw Andaz Apna Apna, I saw Daulat Ki Jang. I'm a huge Amir Khan fan. And then I worked on Tare Zameen Par, which was a huge opportunity for me. So and when I started working on Tare, I remember telling a friend of mine, I was like, I'm not getting out of here, I'm going to stay here, I'm not leaving here, because there's such amazing people to work with, they make such beautiful films. So I wanted to stay at Amir Khan Productions and work with him. And I just kept getting lucky that I got more work here. So Kiran ma'am offered me a job to work on Dhobi Ghat, and then I started managing Amir sir. And then I pitched this film to him. So when I was pitching the film to him, and even today, I feel like I'm really blessed, because it's also good to be true. It's really too good to be true, for that fanboy who was watching films.
Actually casting Amir Khan.
To casting Amir Khan, to directing him, and I feel like it's a dream come true, and it's a bit surreal sometimes. Even today, I don't really believe it. Like I was driving the car the other day, I was going home, and the radio started playing the song, Main Kaun Hoon, and I had to kind of stop the car and just like really.
You just felt the power.
Deal with that moment that the song for my film is on radio now.
So Amit Trivedi has done the music for this film, and we all know that he's genius. Yes, he is. Since the film is a musical drama, what brief was given to Amit in terms of storytelling and themes?
I'll be honest, I just went and narrated the film to Amit and Kausar together. Kausar Muni, who's done our lyrics.
Yes.
I just met them both together, and I narrated the entire film to them. And honestly, I didn't give them a brief after that. Amit is somebody who just kind of reacted emotionally to the film and came up with this album. The tricky thing for Amit, Kausar and me, and it wasn't really a brief to them, it was something we all understood and came together to create, was that they would both have to fuse to become this character Insia, because this girl in the film is a singer-songwriter. She sings the songs that she's composed herself, and she plays the guitar, and she's written the poetry.
True.
So Kausar would have to become a 14-year-old girl. She would have to become this character. It's not like she can just write lyrics according to a situation. So that was the interesting thing, I feel, that Amit, Kausar and me had to get together and do, is create an album from a 14-year-old girl's point of view.
So how much involvement, did Amir have in this film, both as a producer and as an actor?
He was really involved.
Like always.
I went to, absolutely. This is his film. It's a film that he's putting his name on, and that's only happened about 8 times so far. And in the last 15 years since Lagan, he hasn't produced that many films. So it's a very big deal that he's producing this film, and he was involved at every level. I went to him for guidance. I went to him for feedback, and it's really because of his support that I could make this film.
So what you as a debutant director take away from this film? What you've learned from this movie?
You know, I actually have a list of things I feel I've learned from this film. But my biggest takeaway from this film, and this is something that everyone had always said to me before I made a film, but today, having made a film, I realized that even more acutely, is that it really is a collaborative film. It's a
Teamwork.
It's totally teamwork. If it wasn't for Anil sir, who's our DOP, cinematographer, who shot the film, if it wasn't for Zaira, it wasn't for Meher, who plays the mother, or Raj, who plays the father, if it wasn't for all these people who came together, we wouldn't have been able to make this film. You know, if it wasn't for Kausar, who wrote the lyrics of Ammi, we wouldn't have had that song. You know, so it really is a big bunch of people who came together to make this film, you know, and made this film their own. And that's why it's turned out the way it has.
So you've learned a lot from the movie, as
Absolutely.
it's your first directorial movie.
Right.
What kind of pointers would you give to the new directors who are coming in the Bollywood industry now?
I don't know if I can give them any advice here, genuinely. There are so many people who are making their first films this year as well.
Yeah.
And there are so many other people, ADs who I've worked with, you know, writers who I've worked with, who are all looking towards making their first film. I don't think I can give them any advice. I just feel like we should just write stories that come to us honestly, you know, and yeah, and hope for the best.
So how would you define Secret Superstar in one word?
I would say it's a really emotional film. I would say emotional would be the word I would choose.
Alright. So this was the talk with Advait Chandan, and here we have got to know many things about the movie Secret Superstar. Thank you so much for watching the video, The Short Talk.